Hi, I'm Reva with Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and today we're going to see how to make a reusable snack pack. And we are just a snack bag, right? Pack, you can pack stuff, you can bag it, whatever. But we're just going to use one fat quarter, and then I'm also going to give you options for different things. So this fat quarter is just really cute, and I have it folded the hot dog way. Okay, so the finished width I have right here is 9 inches by the 22. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to make a little bag that basically folds up here. You have your little pouch and then you have a little flop over the top. Okay, so we want to finish this top edge because otherwise we're not going to be able to get into it. So I want to take the fabric and fold it right sides together the hot dog way. And then we're just going to sew a seam. You can do a 1/4 inch seam, you can do a 1/2 inch seam, you can do whatever kind of seam makes your heart happy, because you know what? We're not measuring anything, so it's fabulous. Now I'm just going to start sewing a little bit, and then I want to go backwards. And the reason you go backwards is it locks your stitches into place, and so you have a nice secure, the seam won't come open when you're handling the fabric. So I'm going to reverse that again. Now, this machine is really pretty cool. If I step on the heel of the foot control, it cuts the thread. How beautiful is that? I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to turn this right side out. So I'm going to get a nice corner in here. If it is a heavy fabric, you could trim, like a diagonal off of that. But I'm just going to fold it right on that seam and then reach in to the inside of my layers and just kind of use my thumb to poke that in, and then we'll grab it out, and then you can just wiggle that a little bit, get a point turner, and make a really nice little corner there. And then you can press this flat. Okay, to save time, I'm gonna so neatly use my tabletop to press that edge. Now, what we're going to want to do, now you're going to have to stick with me on this one, is I want to have finished edges on the inside and the out, but I want to make it easy. So here's we're going to flip up our edge. This is how big I want it to be, and here will be our flap, right? So I'm going to flip that up, and I have the fold right here. And I'm going to kind of reach into half of the fabric right here. Now this is where you can get pins and whatnot, because if you take this and pin the top layer to your folded piece, both layers, right? That's okay, we're going to do that. But I want to flip it wrong sides out, holding that piece really nice right there. And then let's line it back up. So now my fold is on the inside, and we have our layers all ready to go here. So I've got everything matched up with the fold on the inside. And you can replay that as many times as you want to. Or maybe, should I show you again? How about I show you one more time how we did that? So I've got my, in fact, let me move this out of the way a little bit. So we have our fabric with our finished edge. I've got it. Let me line the cut edges up. Okay, so I have my fabric folded in half. We've seamed this one edge. I want to fold it up so we have enough for a little flap over there. And we want to take this whole piece here. There's 2 layers of fabric there. We want that to stay together with the top layer that you see right here. So I'm going to pinch that, turn it wrong side out completely. And if you pin it, that's easier. But see, I still have my hand on that. Let's lay it down flat so you can take a look. And then we're just going to line the raw edges back up together. And there we've got all of our pieces. Okay, so we have the front, the back, and then our pocket right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just give it a stitch. We're going to stitch down this one side, and I'll turn my corner a little bit there. So I'm going to start here at the fold, and again, it does not matter if you do a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, whatever you want to do for seam allowance. I'm going to go forward a couple of stitches, then backward a couple of stitches. Now this machine is so quiet, I don't even know if you can hear it stitch. It's so quiet, but it's extremely fast and very powerful. So if you're a bag maker or whatnot, then maybe this would be a good machine for you, or maybe you already have one. And then I'm going to reinforce at that section where I have my my folded piece. And then I'm going to come up here. And it looks like I managed to get off a little bit, but I don't care, that's fine. And I'm going to just turn my corner. I'm going to come like an inch or so in and back tack and reinforce that, and step on the back, the heel of that foot control, and then it will lock that or cut that thread. And then I'm going to just give about an inch or so stitch here too on the other side, and you'll see why in a minute. I went reverse there to lock those stitches, and I'm going to do it again on this end, and then let's cut that thread. Okay, so now we are almost done. So, and then we're going to talk about variations too. So I'm just going to put my hand in here. I've got my corner, so let's fold on that seam allowance right there. So I've got a fold there. I'm going to put my fingers in there, grab that corner, and pull it out. Okay. Now, we're going to come in here and push out that little corner. Okay, we are almost done. Okay, so now here's our little snack bag. We got all of our raw edges encased in here. And then we have this top piece. Oh, I got to push out that corner. And I should push out that corner. And what we're going to do is give that a little tug and get those edges to fold under. And I'm going to do my fancy dancy pressing real quick and get that to be flat. Oops, I have a little bit more corner I want to pop out here. I want that to be a little bit sharper of a corner. Okay, very good. Now we're just going to do a top stitch all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to sew 1/8 of an inch around. And also, when you do this, it's good to take this to the ironing board and give it a nice little press before you get to the stitching part. And here's my hole. So I'm just going to make sure that those are one right on top of the other. And we're going to stitch. Now, let's talk about variations. I used a fat quarter, so that's 22 by 19, and I folded it in half, so it was 22 by 9. If you want to use two different fabrics, you can cut them to whatever size you want. I need to go one more stitch. You can cut them to the size you want, and then you can seam them together and make two different colors or two different fabrics. Okay, so now we're coming to our pocket placement. So I'm going to just kind of fold that back, make sure it's in the right spot. Again, you can use pins or clips to get this ready to go. And then also, if you're using a couple of different fabrics, you could use like the fabric that's vinyl coated. You can do the iron-on vinyl coating for the inner piece. You could do like the stuff that you make, the Babyville stuff that you make the diapers out of, so that way it's water resistant. And then you could put your peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there. Right now, I think this is only good for my goldfish, you know, or my crackers, because it's just this is just a piece of quilting cotton, and so it needs to stay dry and not get, you know, juicy stuff on it. But if you want to put your apples, slices, or carrots and things like that, consider putting a water-resistant fabric on the inside. You can even use water-resistant canvas if you want to do that. Okay, so we're almost done here. I'm not sewing very quickly. This machine can go a lot faster, and it also does beautiful if you want to be working with vinyls and other things like that. This machine can handle that. But this is really fun. We got kids getting ready to go back to school pretty soon, so this is a fun thing to make, so they have their snacks in the right bag. It's environmentally responsible. And also, when you go to work, you've got a nice little thing you can put your snacks in as well. So here's our little bag. We got our little cover on it, and now we can put our snacks in here. Now, in addition to having a different fabric on each side, it's really easy to make a custom size. So this one is 9, and it originally was 22. I would have to do math, that kind of math I'm not going to do right now, the backwards math. But in order to figure out what size you want your bag to be. Let's say I want it to be a 5x5 square. That's pretty easy. We need it to be 10 inches wide. I'm not counting for seam allowance. If you want to count for seam allowance, add an extra inch total. So 6 inches, I'm sorry, that would be 11 inches wide, and you fold it in half, right? And then you want your total length of fabric to be the 5 inches, the 5 inches, and half of that. So that's 2.5, 5, and 5. So that would be 12.5 inches, and then add an inch for seam allowance. So we would have 13.5 by 11 would be the piece that would make a 5x5 pouch. So you make them any size you want. Use any fabric scraps that you might have. This is also great for traveling. If you want to put jewelry or something in it, you could put a cute little Velcro closure on here. Do whatever makes you happy. So have fun, use up your scraps, and I hate to say it, get ready for back to school.